Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside today's video, we're going to be ranking all 9 new hypercharges coming with the update. We're also going to be taking a look at the new MOBA game mode. We're not going to be testing out the other ones, but we're mainly focusing on hypercharges and how broken they're going to be, because some of these are going to be so incredibly strong. Probably the strongest we've seen in a little while. RIP tanks, let's just say that. So we're going to be jumping in at number 9. So just a quick kind of spoiler or whatever. Kaze, we can't actually test this out in the dev build just yet. That will be in a future sneak peek, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. But we can look at it from the Brawl talk, and what we can see is that Kaze's hypercharges, both of them I think are the worst out of these new batches. Maybe the Ninja one might be above Willow's, for example, but Kaze Geisha, if you're unsure what this hypercharge does, so her normal super is like a reverse Sandy super. Essentially it just limits the or limits your view, whatever else. It's just not that interesting, and all the hypercharge does is adds an effect that damages enemies over time, and that's not really anything. In the Brawl talk, it looked like pitiful damage, like 300 damage a tick. That's not really anything whatsoever in my opinion, so this has to be easily the worst hypercharge out of all of them. So moving on to the 8th best new hypercharge coming with the update, it is Kaze's Ninja Hypercharge. So with her Ninja super, I'm just reminding you guys because she's such a complex brawler, she will dash through brawlers dealing 3000 damage, but it's going to be a mark, and that mark will explode after 2 or 3 seconds, so not instant damage. But with the hypercharge Ninja super, you get increased dash speed, and then the targets will instantly explode if they're below 3750 HP. So if they're below that kind of a benchmark for that damage, it's going to increase like that benchmark because of the hypercharge damage boost that she gets with it. So that goes from 3000 to 3750. So yeah, any brawler below 3750 gonna instantly get killed. So I guess it is pretty good. I mean, I think it might be a little bit better than Willow's maybe, but I don't know. It doesn't really fit right for me because every other brawler in the game just deals damage instantly anyway. So yeah, you just kind of just get in that with the hypercharge. I don't know. We'll have to test it out. Maybe the hypercharge rate is insanely fast, but I just don't see it being that effective. So moving into the 7th best new hypercharge coming to the update, it's going to be Willow's hypercharge called Psychic Safety. So with this hypercharge super, you get an invulnerability shield, so you can't be like knocked out of it. You're just going to stay in that forever. You can't take any damage, etc. But with Willow, there's always going to be some certain bugs. I've already noticed one. Say for example, if with the mind controlled brawler, if like a Jackie supers you, then it takes you out of that mind control. I don't know, there's just got to be so many bugs. I don't even know what's a bug, what's even like supposed to be legit. Yeah, so Willow, I feel sorry for Willow mains out there because she just doesn't get the love maybe that other brawlers get, to be honest. It's just not that interesting of a super. I guess you can make more aggressive plays with her, but then you've got to realize if you don't score in Brawl, if you don't like get a team wipe with that mind controlled brawler, well, when you reappear out of that hypercharge super, you're so vulnerable as Willow. So you don't really want to go into like advanced positions with her, to be honest. I mean, it's going to be okay because it charges in 2.5 supers, which is pretty good, but I don't really see her like catapult up the meta because of his hypercharge whatsoever, to be honest. I'm really disappointed. Moving on to the 6th best new hypercharge coming to the game, and is a Lily's hypercharge Germinate. So I think all of these hypercharges now are actually really strong, but with her hypercharge super, you'll be able to bounce it off walls, and it's not actually increasing in length or range or whatever. So it's not like anything broken, but it just means that you might be able to make more cool plays. I think it could be really good and clutch in certain situations, and then when you hit an opponent, they will get transported to the Shadow Realm for 5 seconds. So I don't think that's like that good of an additional bonus, to be honest, because I just think purely if you're hitting somebody, I mean, I guess it can probably save you from outside damage. Yeah, it probably is pretty decent actually, but it's just more so the fact that you're just going to shred that 1 versus 1 brawler anyway. I guess you can just now tunnel focus onto that particular brawler. So the biggest thing that I noticed is that you can deal 4.4k damage with the damage star power, which is called Spiky, and that like that's going to shred people. You're literally going to rip through some of the highest HP brawlers in the game, any sort of tank like Ash, etc. You're just going to be able to completely dominate. Normally that tank has a fighting chance, but I guess if they're in the Shadow Realm as well, they can't use a super or whatever else. So it is a pretty good hypercharge. Also, It charges automatically with her charging super circle, and it takes about 2.8 supers to charge up. So actually pretty fast. Anything below 3 I would say is pretty fast. Normally she'll just deal 2.6k damage per hit as well. She has a very fast reload speed, so I just think she's going to completely dominate in 1 versus 1s. This is going to be an exceptional Hypercharge. Into the 5th best Hypercharge coming with the update, I went with Gus's Hypercharge called Spooky Pop. So it is Hypercharge super. If you put it onto yourself, it will throw out some balloons in just a normal pattern, kind of like a spike shot. It has some decent range to it, and it will deal 2,520 damage per person it hits. I've also tried like up close onto people. It seems like you can't hit every single one, so I guess you got to kind of stand outside of their hitbox, if you get what I mean. So don't stand directly on top of them, else you won't be dealing much damage. It feels that does kind of make sense, right? Else you just completely delete everyone, kind of like Spike's gadget. But yeah, also if you super onto a teammate, you will heal them, even though I tried healing a few teammates and it didn't actually heal them for anything. If that's probably bugged. But you also deal 2,070 damage, and instead of just a like normal spike shot, for example, you actually curve like curveball. So, and it deals 2,070 damage, so a little bit less damage, but that is pretty good. Also, it takes 2.5 supers to fully charge up this Hypercharge, so that is pretty fast. But of course, Gus is a slow reloading brawler. But to think a game mode to like knockout bounty where you're pairing it with any sort of aggression, it's going to come in clutch, especially that healing as well. On top of that, the extra damage, like it's going to be a very strong Hypercharge in my opinion. Gus is definitely going to come back in the meta with this. So now moving into the 4th best Hypercharge coming with the update, it's going to be Clancys Hypercharge. So with his Hypercharge, it's called Recall of Duty, which I just love by the way. But Clancys super paintballs will pierce enemies and then return back to him, so dealing double the damage, which is insane by the way. Completely busted. Clancy already is what I don't get. His super was just so dominant, was one of the most broken things in a long time in Brawl Stars. Any tank just don't stand really a chance whatsoever. Although he is one of the worst brawlers in the game right now, this Hypercharge super is just going to be completely busted. Tanks aren't going to have a single chance against this. It's going to just be a team wipe machine. It also, by the time you get to your maximum level, you'll have a Hypercharge super. That's just how it goes. It's about, I think, 3 supers to get. Again, I don't know what it's like when you get to maximum level, but that's just, you're going to be able to cycle this quite effectively in my opinion. Of course, the biggest drawback with Clancy is just he's Clancy in his normal form. He is pretty bad, but he's going to be able to take over the game again. It's going to remind me of like Prime Clancy, where once you get to that maximum level and with the Hypercharge super, there's pretty much nothing stopping him. He looks absolutely insane. This surely has to get some type of emergency nerf. So now moving into the top 3 new Hypercharges coming with the update. To be honest, the top 4 even, you could probably switch either one of them. They're absolutely insane and busted, every single one of these. This Amber one could easily be number 1 as well, but it's just broken. So with Amber's Hypercharge super, it's called Oil Spill, and Oil Spill area will be increased. So her super radius will just be like double, tripled. I don't even know. It's just ginormous. It's massive. You just won't miss this whatsoever. And it's going to deal an insane amount of damage because of the damage boost on top with the Hypercharge. It just looks so completely broken. You're going to hit it every single time. How are you supposed to avoid this? Also, this Amber Hypercharge takes 3.3 supers to fully charge up, so very fast. You've got the 25% damage boost, so you're going to be dealing like 500 per flame, which is insane. You get speed boost on top of this. And I know there might be some toxic strategies as well with the Mythic. I know normally you just want to throw out your super and alight it, but maybe you wanted some strategy with some good teammates where you can throw out this massive super and have the Mythic gear combined with it and just don't set it alight. It's just ultimate control. This thing is absolutely busted. And then I didn't even mention on top of that, it also lingers for 3 seconds after being lit. It's just, I don't get it. This is just absolutely broken. There's just no way that Amber isn't going to be anything away from the S tier. Easily one of the best Hypercharges in the game. Now moving on to the second best new Hypercharge coming with the update, it's Griff's Hypercharge called Tax Rebate. So with his Hypercharge super, it will pierce through the environment, and then at maximum range the banknotes will duplicate, and then one at a time, so like a little bit of a delay period, they'll return back to you, also piercing the environment again and dealing extra damage while dealing 2 lots of damage. It's just pure damage. This is absolutely busted, by the way. Again, I'm not overreacting. Seriously, the top 4 Hypercharges have potential to completely break the game, but this one in particular, the reason why it's so good is because you got to think, right, of course Griff's already going to just rip through tanks anyway with the boost damage that he's going to get with a Hypercharge, but you're now just going to just rip through everybody through walls. Walls will not matter. I know with Griff normally you break open the map, so there's less walls anyway, but now his biggest weakness, yeah, he could just fly them through the wall, and he's just got to team wipe through walls. any type of super in the past that you've been able to shoot through walls or etc. and just get easy team wipes, it's just been absolutely broken. I'm scared about this one. I think there needs to be like a damage reduction when they go through walls, to be honest, because this has potential to be busted. Also, you've got the fact that it takes 3.3 super charge up, so I mean it's not like the fastest charging one, but it's not really slow, considering if Griff is facing off against tanks, he's going to get unlimited hypercharges. Yeah, this one is going to be completely busted. Griff means you must be feasting right now, because this is going to break the game. It's easily going to be S-tier now. Into the best new hypercharge coming with the update, we have Kenji's Hypercharge called All You Can Eat. So with his Hypercharge super, it adds a big circle around his X super, and every single brawler that's within that circle will get pulled in the center towards the X, kind of like a Tara super. And then, of course, you've got your X dash, will just slice through them, and then Kenji will spawn in the middle of that and just destroy them and finish off any brawlers that haven't just already got completely, absolutely wrecked. So it takes 3 supers to charge this Hypercharge as well, which, let's face it, isn't a big amount with Kenji. Kenji was starting to drop down the meta a little bit like B-tier. I weren't really seeing him much in competitive play. But now with Kenji, with the speed boost you get on top of this as well, speed 25%, damage 25%, he's going to cycle fast as well, because that's just how Kenji is right now. It's going to be very, very scary. Honestly, again, I got to put any of his top 4 in the same position. Some of them, like Griff's, may be a bit better than Kenji's, but I think because Kenji's probably in the best state other than the other top brawlers, he's going to be very, very scary. Combined with his already broken gadget. It's not as broken as before, but really strong gadget, really strong star power. And his Hypercharge, it just perfectly tops it off. An assassin that has these capabilities to team wipe over walls so easily. Again, it's going to be completely busted. So, yeah. That's going to be all of the Hypercharges ranked. Let me know down in the comment section below whether you change any of these. But yeah, the top 4 completely busted Brawl Stars. Please fix these. We're going to be jumping into the MOBA mode now. So just briefly, we're going to be talking about the new MOBA mode. I'm going to put the gameplay in the background. But with MOBA, this is one thing that people haven't really spoken about, because I guess it's not like the glitz and glamour of the new update and all the flashy wasabi powers, etc. This is coming a little bit later on in the update, but I think for the competitive players, I think they will definitely enjoy this. I think it has some good strategies. I think a lot of people will write it off because new game modes typically, they do get a lot of hate. They do. But this one definitely has the bigger potential for sure, because again, like the strategies, you're facing off against like the computer as well as like this, of course, enemies around like lurking. I think this has potential to be really, really fun. Again, I played it a few times. I'm unsure on the meta. Again, it's going to be like a completely new meta. There's going to be like completely ways to like die. Like you can't write dive bomb onto the Ike like you could in like Siege, for example. So it will take a lot longer. It's probably more beneficial to charge it up and get your power to like power 10, so then you get some insane stat boost. I think it's going to be very, very fun. I'm excited for this. Again, I've got very limited time testing it out. But if you guys are as hardcore as I am, you've got to be excited for this game mode. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.